Artificial intelligence may already appear to be pretty much everywhere just months after it hit the mainstream, but more and more advancements and applications for the technology are becoming a reality, seemingly by the day. In this brave new world of AI-enabled systems, how should distributors approach these cutting-edge technologies? Brooks Hamilton, a longtime tech industry veteran and the founder of Hamilton AI Strategy Advisors in Austin, Texas, says that the companies he talks to are wary not only of how to jump into the world of AI, but of what their competitors might be doing as well. Hamilton joins Industrial Distribution to discuss what distributors should know about AI and how it stands to affect their businesses in the years ahead. So my first question, it's a little bit tricky because it seems like the technology is advancing so quickly, but just kind of broadly, what should distributors know about what AI looks like today, and how does that kind of apply to their businesses as it stands today?
Yeah, I think the opportunity that distributors have today is really quite a good one for two reasons. One is the portion of a distributor's business that is going to be impacted by AI right out of the gate is going to be less than half of their operation, which provides a little bit more time to evaluate what is in the market and what's working and what isn't. I think the real push that we see in terms of use cases today are in a variety of industries, everywhere from financial services to medical. But the areas that I think are going to be especially relevant for distribution over the next 6 months are going to be related to two main areas. The first is working on the sales process. So specifically sets of tools to go about augmenting and automating sales processes to be more efficient and hopefully drive some top-line revenue. And then the other area is in knowledge consolidation. So just as we have many organizations which are going through a process of renewal, now they also have an opportunity of taking that knowledge that's been built up over decades and along with product information that's coming from recent investments in things like PIM and combining it to make it available both within and outside of the organization, whether that is in a chatbot format or some other knowledge distribution approach.
Okay. So for companies that might be interested in those two things, specifically probably revenue, it kind of seems like a daunting thing to kind of tackle. Where is the starting point for starting with AI, and then kind of how does that progress as they move along that journey?
I think a great place to begin is you already have a lot of ideas within your organization. So AI, at this point, we've kind of known about it for about a year, and most of the organizations that we speak with have some really cool ideas about what they'd like to try. And then in addition, there are some definite best practices emerging within wholesale distribution. And I think it's kind of taking those two, combining them and prioritizing them. And typically the prioritization works like, hey, we want to start out with something which is going to yield a quick success. It's going to be low risk, and we're going to see some return from it. And that was, I think, especially cool about AI today is that type of return can touch multiple areas. So usually when we think about return, we think about it in terms of financial benefit, which is why we make these financial investments. What's really cool right now is we can see the return financially. We can grow both top line and make that bottom line grow as well by becoming more efficient. But the other neat thing is we can help our employees enjoy what they're doing more by focusing more of their time on the job, parts of the job that they really enjoy and are meaningful for them. And then the second is, or the other area is your customers. If you are making that customer journey faster or more enjoyable, higher quality, that is really just all the more reason to work with a distributor who is beginning to utilize AI within their processes.
So there's some there's some obvious reasons to kind of get started with it now, but it also seems like a reason to get started with it now is to not be, caught lagging behind as these technologies continue to advance. So this is another little bit of a tricky one, but looking forward in the coming weeks, months, years, where do you kind of see this technology heading, both from kind of a big picture and just a kind of a practical aspect?
Yeah. I think the first thing you noted was really important of at what point should you begin to make investments? And there are two capabilities to build out within organizations. One of those is to build out the tech stack. So I want to use products that are AI enabled because it makes my team more efficient and whatever the other benefits are. But the other is working through an AI implementation and the change management that goes along with it is actually quite different than what it is like when you are rolling out something like a new ERP or CRM or other piece of software. So the two capabilities you're building are, I'm going to have better tools, but I also need to teach my organization and build muscle memory on how do we go about successfully implementing them. And just like all implementations, there might be some that go well and others that don't go as well that we learn from. So I think when we go do both of those and start the process early, even if it's in a small way, that will help educate the organization once a wholesale distributor or manufacturer decides to push and renovate much more of their existing processes with AI. To get to the second part of your question, which is what do we see coming up more broadly? There are two significant investment areas that the tech labs are making today. I think we hear a lot about language models and ChatGPT and so on. But the reason that they're making these large investments today is to build the next layer on top of this, which is a set of autonomous agents that can perform certain tasks. So an autonomous agent, an example may be, just to take it outside of a business context, is I'm planning a trip. Great. The autonomous agent should ask me, well, what are my preferences? It should probably look up where did I like to stay, have an idea on budget, and assemble an itinerary or a few options for itineraries and present them back to me for review and update. Well, a lot of our business processes work the same way of we take information from one system, apply some rules to it, and push it into another system. So it's really a matter of going down that path with highly autonomous agents. And we expect those releases to occur in a more meaningful way before the end of this year. The other wave that we'll see is robotics. So that will certainly impact the sort of inventory, warehousing operations. We know some very large organizations have made investments there, but we would expect that more and more organizations over the next 2 to 3 years will be able to take advantage of easily trained, low-cost robots.